This Shabbat is Shabbat Zachor, the Shabbat of remembrance, that is before Purim. And on the Shabbat, over and above the weekly reading of the Torah, we read a maftir. We read a section from a second Sefer Torah called Parshat Zachor. And this is from the book of Devarim. And in that we are told, Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek b'derech tzatchem mimitzrayim. Remember what the nation of Amalek did to you, the Jewish people, on the way out of Egypt. That after you crossed through the Red Sea, they attacked you from behind, unprovoked, with no reason. You were weak, you were tired. They attacked those from behind. They caused a lot of damage. And you should never forget, lo tishkach. And in the future, you must wipe out the very memory of Amalek. Now, what's fascinating is the Chofetz Chaim wrote a book, Sefer Mitzvot HaKatzar, the concise book of mitzvot, where he lists all of those mitzvot that can be done today. There are many mitzvot that we cannot do because, for example, one may live in a diaspora, and also we don't have the Holy Temple. There were many, many mitzvot commandments that one could only do in the Holy Temple. But he lists all of the mitzvot that one can do today. He wrote that book somewhere in the 1920s. And he lists this mitzvah of remembering what Amalek did to us. And that ultimately we are to wipe out Amalek, who is an arch enemy of the Jewish people. Now the question is, who's Amalek? Since when did you ever hear of a nation in the modern world that was called Amalek? Does Amalek have a seat on the United Nations? Who is Amalek? Amalek doesn't exist anymore. They seem to have disappeared. So why is there a mitzvah to remember Amalek? Now it could possibly be that although Amalek has no actual descendants, blood descendants, they've all just been absorbed into the nations, but they have philosophical descendants. There are people out there who identify with the philosophy and the attitudes of Amalek. And what is their philosophy? What is their attitude? Lo yareh Elokim. They have no fear of God. They have an absolute hatred for the Jewish people. It is, in a way, something that is incomprehensible. It makes no sense. They hate and they just want to attack and they just want to kill. And unfortunately, we have seen Amalek. We have seen Amalek in the previous generation. The Nazis who went out just to kill Jews. They didn't care whatsoever. There were no threat to them whatsoever. They just wanted to kill them. Of course, Haman in the story of Purim. And more recently, the 7th of October 2023, when the savages from Hamas attacked. And it wasn't just an attack. It was absolutely fearsome and brutal. And they killed and they maimed and they raped and they burnt and they cut up corpses in the most terrible way. We have to remember that Amalek still exists. There is still evil in this world. People try to justify things and say there isn't real evil and everything is gray, etc. No, there is true evil. And we have to be aware of it. And that's the mitzvah of Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek. Amalek and what they represent is still alive today. Absolute evil. And it must be destroyed. And only then will the throne of Hashem be complete. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a Purim Sameach.